I can barely believe this is happening. I'm actually filming a video for YouTube. Hi everyone, I'm Lorena. If you don't know me, I am a coach, a mentor, a guide, and I teach on manifestation and changing your self-image, your self-concept, getting really rooted in your authentic self. And my approach to manifestation is very holistic, very comprehensive, and I focus on sustainability over quick fixes because I want you to really integrate it all and transform. So that's the introduction. If you don't know who I am, if you've been on my channel before, then welcome back. There are some changes. There are some changes in the background. I renovated and my hair has changed. I'm currently going through a phase where I'm reinventing myself every few weeks and constantly trying out new things. I've changed so many things in my life recently. I had felt really called to take a break from YouTube a few months ago. I felt like it wasn't fully aligned at the time, and I was working really hard on getting my coaching program ready, which is now finished and it's launching right now. We're starting the next round soon. I'm really proud of it. It's gotten really amazing, but I had to take a step back from filming videos for other things. So now though, I feel like I've been reborn into another new version of myself. I call her Lorena 3.0 because we've surpassed 2.0 a while ago already. Today I felt really called to just come on here and talk to you about some lessons, some messages that are present for me right now when it comes to, of course, the same topic of self-concept and manifestation. It's going to be more of a chatty video, as you might be able to tell already. I didn't write anything down, I didn't script or prepare anything. So if you're looking for more of a step-by-step video on manifestation, on changing your self-concept, any of these topics, then check out my other videos. This is going to be more a combination of my personal journey recently and some things that I want to give to you that I know you can take with you that will really support you in your journey. So the main topic that has been so present in my life recently, and it's a topic I speak about a lot. If you've been on my channel before, you know that it's an important topic for me because it's been a big lesson in my life, and that's the topic of surrender. And I have a whole video on how to surrender and release resistance in order to receive your manifestation. But I've just integrated even more lessons recently because sometimes we're in a place where we think we are surrendered because we know we should surrender, right? Reason being, if we're resisting, we're focusing on the problem, right? You can check out more about that in the video. But the main reason people don't receive their manifestation, although they feel like they're doing all the right things, is because they are not surrendering to what is. They are resisting their current circumstances and putting up all these barriers and blockages for themselves. And sometimes we know this and we know we should surrender, but we confuse surrender with giving up, which it's not the same thing. It's not giving up. Or we think we're surrendered, but we're truly not. We're truly still resisting. And what happens when you don't surrender? Although it's the next step for you on your journey, the next step for you to get closer to what you want and who you want to be, who you want to become, what then happens is that life presents you with more and more lessons, challenges, opportunities to get you to a place of surrender. And that's exactly what happened to me. I thought I was surrendered in some areas of my life, and bam! I clearly wasn't. And I kept coming up against these challenges. And I'm sharing this with you also because I know many of you are often struggling with some patterns that keep repeating. Repetitive cycle. No matter what you do, the same stuff repeats over and over again, and then the same thing appears again in a different way, and you just don't know what you're doing wrong. And that's why it's happening, because you're probably still resisting it. And the more you resist it, the louder it's gonna get. It's gonna keep repeating until you learn the lesson, until you go, okay, I surrender. I truly surrender. And I hit this point personally very recently, and I'm still transitioning through it. And I hit this point where I was like, okay, I'm gonna let it all go. I'm gonna surrender. And in that moment, something in me kicked off, and I got this intense urge to clear everything up and out. I got rid of most of what was in my wardrobe. I cleared up my social media. I sold a bunch of things. I rearranged things. I brought new things in. I had a whole reshuffling of everything, like, right? Even this or this, like, that's a change. That's an environmental change. And a little tip for you too, that it's good to change something in your surroundings, in your environment, if it doesn't align with who you're becoming anymore. So I did all that because I had realized the next version of me doesn't own that stuff, isn't wearing that, doesn't follow this person. And how this connects with the topic of surrender is because people can mistake the idea of surrender with not taking action. And it has nothing to do with not taking action. Surrender can even mean you're taking action, but you're taking action in a much more aligned way. Surrendering also has a lot to do with you listening to your body and listening to your intuition and listening to your truth, right? If you feel like you have a grasp on something, be that a desire, be that a way of living, be that a habit, then the call is strong to surrender, and that can mean changing something, right? If you're trying the same thing over and over again, and you see this a lot in the context of manifestation, because people have this idea that to reprogram their subconscious, they need to do repetitive actions. And that's not to say that repetition doesn't play a role, right? Your subconscious has been programmed to a certain extent due to repetition, due to the experiences that you've made and the observations that you've made. But what can happen if you get a technique that you feel resonates with you, and you, for example, listen to affirmation tapes every night, or whatever feels good to you, right? It doesn't matter, whatever technique feels good to you. Instead of actually taking in the new beliefs that you want to take in, what can happen is that you habitually now become the person who listens to affirmation tapes every night. It just becomes part of your habit. So if you've been doing something for a long time and nothing is shifting and nothing is working, change something, do something differently, pivot, right? We can get so caught up in our ways. That's another sneaky way the ego tries to grasp and tries to control and doesn't trust and doesn't surrender. And this whole journey is very much about trust. It's very much about trusting yourself, trusting the process, trusting in your worth, trusting in your divinity. So the moment I decided to surrender, I didn't just sit back and wait for things to happen. I took action, and that's when things start happening, right? If you're in a state of waiting for things to change, repetitively doing the same thing over and over again. And that can show up in different ways. It doesn't need to be affirmations. It can also be having a routine that you've just gotten used to. Change it up. Change it up, or seek out a new perspective, right? Meet new friends, or seek out a new mentor that you're hiring, right? Seek out different support. Join a new community. Do something new, get new people around you, let yourself be inspired, because it's so human to get so set in your ways. And sometimes all we need to do is make a change and trust our intuitive knowing. Even if the change doesn't make sense, it will lead us where we want to go. For example, this week also, I recently made a few really massive investments. I came back from a powerful plant medicine ceremony a while ago, and in order to integrate this, in order to support me, I hired a coach. That was a good chunk of an investment. And I also got new guest teachers into my signature program, my signature coaching program, Recreate Yourself, that also were a good investment. So I had invested all of this money, and the other day I felt so called to joining a new coaching program, which was a business coaching program. And I just felt so called to this person. And logically, it did not make sense. Logically, it made zero sense, because actually you could see it as quite irresponsible, because I had just had all of these expenses, and the next expense would actually put me at a threshold that was lower than what I was comfortable with having in my bank account. It didn't make sense, but I felt such a strong pull in my body. I did it anyway. I was like, I'm gonna make it work. And I can tell you, the moment I invested, the moment I joined this container, it was as if my subconscious was like, oh, right, we're doing something different, right? And immediately my state shifted, right? That action shifted my state. And it also brought me closer to an energy and a state of surrender, because I allowed myself to be held. I allowed myself to not have to do it alone. There's power in community, right? Like, whether that's a mentor, but it can also be speaking to a friend. It can also be letting yourself be witnessed. We always feel like we need to be so strong and resilient, but there's so much power in softness, and that has a lot to do with surrender too. So to bring this together, because this was a lot of different things in one, surrendering requires you to be open, requires you to trust, requires you to be soft, requires you to admit that you don't need to do it alone. Stepping into a new version of yourself requires surrender and trust too. It requires doing something differently. Stuckness requires you doing something differently. Pivoting, making a change. Notice where you're stuck and let it all go. Clear it all out and start from scratch. That's when the wisdom will come to you. I really felt like giving this a bit of a more personal flavor. No idea how you're going to find this, so do let me know in the comments if anything landed with you, or if you'd like me to go deeper into any of these topics or any other topics. I would also love to start speaking more about topics outside of manifestation. I would like to expand my work in this way. My work is a lot more comprehensive in this way anyway. If you've been part of my coaching program yet, or you're going to be, or you've looked at it, you will know that my program is not solely focused on manifestation, but very much on emotional integration, nervous system regulation, and really changing your self-concept at the root, so you can get a true transformation that enables you to manifest your desires from a much more embodied and sustainable place. I would like to widen the area of topics that I speak about. So if there's anything specific you would like me to dive into, let me know. And also, I would love to build more of a community here on YouTube, because I've neglected this a little bit. So yeah, maybe we can go live. I had been planning this a while ago, but then I felt the call to pull back from YouTube. But maybe we can do a little live Q&A, or yeah, I would just like to have more community here. I also have community on Instagram, so do check that out if you're not following me already. And lastly, for those of you who are interested and who are watching this timely, I am currently in the launch of my program, my signature coaching program, Recreate Yourself, and we're starting the next intake on the 15th of August. That is very soon, in just a couple of weeks. This is my baby. I am so proud of this program, and it has delivered incredible transformations for so many people now. And yeah, if this is something you feel called to, if you would like me to be your mentor, then do check that out. I'm going to link that in the description. You don't have long left to apply if you want to join the next intake, but reach out to me via Instagram if you have any questions about anything. I am sending you so much love, and I'll see you in the next video. Don't know when that will be, but hopefully soon.